What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. We have a pretty short podcast for you guys today, just talking a little bit about NBA. So we're going to do our sponsors a solid and move them from the middle to the front. So let's go ahead and talk about Manscaped.com. Live sports are back. We've said it a couple times already. There's a chance that there could be a matchup between the Clippers and the Nuggets, but we've been doing that matchup at home all summer long. And that's the Clippers that Manscaped gives us, and they make sure that your nuggets are safe as possible when that matchup happens. So Manscaped is here to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience.
For sure, man. And do not let your balls end up looking like LeBron James's hairline. Don't do that to yourself. And Manscaped doesn't want you to do that yourself. They offer you this amazing Lawnmower 3.0 package. No, is that the package? No.
No, that's
the actual trimmer.
The perfect package is just what it's called, but
I figured you were going to be the one having problems with this recording since it's so late. Now I'm having the problems. But yeah, the Lawnmower 3.0, it's absolutely amazing. It's got a light. It's waterproof. It will not cut your balls. I can finally say that without a shadow of a doubt, at least mine. And if it doesn't cut mine, it probably won't cut yours because I got the balls of an 80-year-old man. So perfect package. It comes with a couple of free gifts. Still, yes, they are giving you the free boxers and the free travel bag. That is real leather. It does not burn. We actually did that on the YouTube. We're out here killing it. And then they got a couple new things coming out too, man.
Yes, sir. Something that they are not giving you in the package, but I've said it a couple times. I'm going to say it again. These crop mops, when I showed it to you the first time, I hadn't had them opened yet. So they are little pouches. They look just like when you go eat at a hot wing store, man, and you just got to pop, and that's what they look like on the inside. You just roll them down. It's good. I'm telling you, I will stand by these. I don't know how much they are. They're not part of the package, but you got to go get those as well and make sure you use our code. We'll get that at the end, but they're worth it.
Dang, we got another return item. That's awesome.
Sir.
So you're with them things?
They're nice. They're nice.
That's awesome.
I use them more than the spray now because, you get the deodorant first, and then I used to top it off with the spray. But now that they gave us this little – I've been using these instead of the spray. It's nice.
I just feel so stank using the spray. But that's what it's for.
Exactly.
Freshen up. But I don't know. That's just how I feel. But yeah, but talking about the spray and all that stuff, you cannot forget about the anti-chafing crop preserver. It is absolutely amazing, especially for people like me who don't sit in an office. You have to get up and work and move around and sweat. It's bar none the best thing that I've ever tried out, but really the only thing I've ever done is baby powder and cornstarch. So this is absolutely amazing.
Is pretty nice too, but this stuff.
Crop preserver is legit. Between the crop preserver, the crop wipes, your balls will be the freshest balls around.
Exactly. So if you do want to go grab the perfect package, you get all that stuff minus the crop mop wipes, but you get that Lawnmower 3.0, you get the crop preserver, you get the crop reviver. You also still get, like Seal said, those boxers and the little leather bag to go in it. It's awesome. You get all that stuff and you will use it. I'm telling you, we've said it before. We'll say it again. You will use it. So head over to manscaped.com, not to our website. Do that too. But for this, head over to manscaped.com and you'll get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code No Scrubs. That's all one word. Again, head over to manscaped.com and you'll get 20% off and free shipping with our code No Scrubs. So take your grooming game to the next level. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the NBA because that's really what's going on. And to be candid, I mean, we love all sports, but the NBA is up near the top, especially since it's gearing up to be in the playoffs. No offense to hockey and Eddie, who are also doing the same kind of thing. But
the Panthers are trash.
The what?
Dude, the Panthers.
Are they in this thing? Aren't they last place?
Bro, no, they're playing. So, man, Minshew doesn't want to stay up. But, yeah, look, everybody. Minshew. Woohoo! COVID-19 got him too. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, so I'm watching it yesterday. They're down 2-1. I think they were playing the Rangers. And they pull the goalie with like a minute and a half left. Didn't see one push.
Jeez.
Not one. I'm not lying.
Wow.
It was the most.
So they had the puck, but they didn't do anything with it?
I mean, no, they were trying to advance it, but it would just get distracted and womp down. But they never had a nice momentum push going, orchestrated, nothing. The whole minute plus, it was absolute ass, bro. And there was a table full of, and they were yelling the whole time. I was like, man, they better tighten up before the playoffs start. This is
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
oh,
it's like the playoffs, but it's
okay.
not the playoffs. But it's more the playoffs than NBA is. So it's a qualifying series that's best of 5. But I don't know if they get a playoff berth unless they win the qualifying series.
So
So
this is pretty much for the Panthers is more serious than
yeah,
the playoffs
because
because they might not see that. Damn.
yeah, so you don't get that extra money or whatever. I guess you would get if you make the playoffs. I don't
But
really
hey,
know.
at least they're there fighting for a chance.
Yeah, right. The Red Wings should be gifted the number 1 overall pick, but that's not how lotteries work. But I was laughing with Eddie, our NHL guy, and I said there should be a threshold for if you're this bad, they just say, all right, 2 through whatever are lottery. Number 1 is already taken, because if we don't get the number 1 pick, that would be the worst case scenario. And then
Pretty
we just
much.
run it back, and they'd think we were doing the process with Philly, except we're just actually that bad. So that's our NHL update. But before we get to the NBA, we did want to continue to do a few little shout outs here. Again, the MLS is back tournament is headed to the semifinals. Props to the 4 teams that are there. Philadelphia, they're playing Minnesota. No, Portland. They're playing Portland,
Yeah.
and then Orlando is playing Minnesota. So shout out to those teams. But they are still going, and I'm going to be writing up posts after every game, like I said. So go check those out. They're on our website, noscrubsallowed.com. They're also on our Facebook, facebook.com/noscrubsallowed, I believe. And then Twitter is @noscrubsports. I think it posts there as well. So go check those out, get those done. But big props to those teams, and they're still moving on. So it's going to be a good one. Another sport that I wanted to shout out, well, not the same sport, but another soccer thing that I wanted to shout out is big props to Arsenal. We finally win something. It's great. We look a lot better under Arteta, obviously, but in the season, it looked like we were not even going to compete in a European tournament next year. But we got to beat Chelsea, which is twofold, because one, it helps us to beat Chelsea, which is great. And it gets us into an automatic qualifier for the Europa. But then 2, Tottenham was going to have that automatic qualifier if we lost. But because we stole it from them, now they have to go through qualifying. So it's like a double-edged. Our rival now has to get knocked off and go play qualifying. So it worked out doubly as well. But it was a great game. They actually looked good that entire tournament. It was nice. So
They did, man. And Captain America, Christian Pulisic, gave y'all a huge scare at the beginning.
a huge goal. I mean, did you see that movie made? I mean, it's
The creep
simple
back,
for
right?
those guys, but yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
just the defender couldn't even do anything, and then an easy shot over the golie. Or well, they make it look easy, but it's really not to
That
be in
he
full
was
possession and then
absolutely
chip it.
insane. I didn't even try to look it up, even though I asked if there was anything out there. But he ended up it looked like he just ripped the hell
And
out of
it
his
would have been a
hamstring.
second goal. I'm pretty sure he was on his way to a second goal, basically a breakaway, pulls up on his ham. He still took like 4 steps and tried to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And it was just ugly. But that's why we thought that he just ripped it. But he was able to hobble off with just like hugging a few guys, didn't have to get carted off, which is nice. And I saw at the end of the game, he had walked back out of the tunnel. So he's at least hobbling. So I don't think there'll be surgery, but he could potentially still be out a few months because hamstrings are nasty. But we have to start our qualifying soon. So I hope he gets back to help us out. Not really sure how the qualifying is going this year because of all the coronavirus stuff, but it's supposed to have already started. So I'm sure it's going to be starting soon.
So it's just a strain.
Okay, good. But that's still probably a few months, right?
Yeah, he's going to be out 2 to 3 is what that site said.
That's best case scenario, though. So.
Oh, for sure. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to Arsenal for real. A lot of good football going on in that cup. And it's just amazing to see Christian. It's been a long time since we've had a Captain America around in
Yeah.
soccer.
At the
And-
top of the best league too. I mean, he is
And out of
up
nowhere,
there.
just
So,
out of nowhere, and to continue that climb, it wasn't just a 1 or 2 game spurt. He
Right.
really took this cup tournament and made a name for himself, and it's awesome. And we had so much hope for U.S. men's, and now we won't have him.
hey, we still have the hope though. We still have. They changed the qualifiers. I think they noticed that they want America to still be in there. So our CONCACAF World Cup qualifying is different, and I think it's easier for us to get in now. So
Yeah, nice. But a football, go to football real quick. A team that looked great and had a little injury, not really injury, but a takeaway in Tom Brady. But then Cam Newton came. They got fired back up, absolutely fired back up. My buddy Austin went from being in his shell in a cave in the coast, underwater. Nobody could hear or see from him about the Patriots. Now he was back. Now they got 8 guys doing that.
and
opt-out.
most of them are defensive, right?
Yeah. And I think a lineman as well.
Jeez.
So, like, real heart and soul of the team guys. I mean, Patriots don't have headliner names on their team.
Well, Hightower, who opted out, their linebacker, he was the captain of the defense. He was Tom Brady on defense. So him being out
Been in that system forever.
is huge. Yeah, he could run that system with his eyes closed and tell everyone else where to go. So that's going to be big.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And I feel like the more we get, there's going to be a lot more. And especially these guys, it's insane. These guys who would end up just being cut and not even make it into the NFL. They're going to be able to cash out on a 6-figure check and have a chance again next year. That's
we should go out, man. Just try to – because now the practice squad should be like high school kids. If they just keep trickling down with nobody wanting to play, I'll play. I'll
Well, I
stand
feel
there
like-
and be a blocking dummy.
Does practice squad people make more than 100,000?
Probably not.
Because what is it? It's a 120,000 opt out. I don't know. Oh no, it might be.
It depends. I mean, if you're guaranteed, you get all of that, right? If you still, because you already got that guaranteed money, didn't you? Or is that?
I'm talking about like 7th rounders, like going
Oh, sure.
to be into the.
They're not.
practice squad
Are they going to
honors.
opt out? These 7th rounders that aren't making any money.
All right, so they're going to go through and get cut and have to go sell cars and make $40,000 for the next year, maybe. Or they could just opt out for the season and make $120,000. Speculation. That's just a number I'm coming up
So
with.
any drafted player can do
I'm
the
pretty-
opt out thing.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That's crazy. So
If they're-
before
if they're
cuts, they can
signed.
do it.
Yeah,
That's
if they're
nuts.
signed, yeah.
Well, 7th rounders aren't signed, are they?
The Jaguars sign everybody.
No.
It's crazy.
I don't understand how their contracts work. If they're going to sign them and then they don't even make the team anyway and they get cut, then how did that? That doesn't sound like being signed to me. But I don't know much about the CBA, if that's what the NFL still calls it, for contracts and stuff. Anyway, so all right. So one last thing I wanted to talk about. We're not going to do our funeral yet for the MLB because it's still there, but it is on its way out. But I did want to make a couple shout outs. Kershaw came back today, Sunday, and looked really good. He only pitched like 5 1/3 innings or something, but he looked good, scoreless. We ran the table, looked pretty good over the Diamondbacks. But the guy I really wanted to talk about, you're not going to like it as much. Aaron Judge, man, he is trying to break Barry Bonds' record in a 60-game season. This man is going for all the marbles. He's now homered in 6 straight games?
Yeah.
So, and he homered twice today. So he has 6 home runs. So that would be 5 straight games, I guess. 6 home runs in 8 games. And if he stays this hot, man, he could be up around 50 in a 60-game season. And that would be would you count that record? I mean, it's not a record. If he got to 73, you'd count it, obviously. But if he gets 50 home runs in a 60-game season, what do you count as that?
A 50 home run season for a bomb-ass Yankee.
So you wouldn't say, like, man, that's the equivalent of 85 home runs.
No, so what do? You do like that simulation, like do the full, like do the
if you
full
extrapolate it
48
out
minutes,
to 162, he hit 112 home runs. And
yeah.
So we're just gonna wipe
No,
Barry Bonds.
if he gets 52 home runs in 60 games, then he hits 52 home runs for the season. I mean, it's a season, it's 60 games.
Either way,
But
that's unbelievable. I mean, he won't.
yeah,
get it, but
he's doing good. He's killing it, and they're in early at bats. The ones I've seen
Yeah.
have been in the earlier at bats, which is insane. I mean, he's getting help. The Red Sox are freaking ass. So,
and he gets to play them 45 out of 60 games or something. It feels like so.
yeah,
He might actually end up with a whole bunch of home runs.
So I mean, but no, Rob Manfred, he's sticking to his guns, man. He doesn't give a damn if the
He blamed the players, which is really weird. But
I don't understand with these commissioners, because there was a time, I mean, Roger Goodell is starting to actually, in the last couple years, getting in
seem right
to the good side
Yeah.
with the players. But there was a time where it was, why is this clown here, coming from everywhere in the NFL, and
Yeah.
from the fans, from the media. They somehow stuck it out, didn't get fired. How do these commissioners not just get belted off of their chairs so quickly with the stuff that they say? I mean, Manfred comes out saying it's
as
just
far
a
as
piece
Goodell
of
is
metal.
concerned, the owners choose the commissioner, and Goodell is going to do anything to make the owners money, and that's why he's a crappy commissioner. But that's also why he's not going to get fired, because the owners are like, well, no, we're making good money off of him. So, but Manfred, I assume it's probably the exact same thing. He probably tries to make the owners as much money as he can and doesn't care about the players. And that's where it goes. But yeah, he said that the players need to step up their game and not get the COVID.
It's on the players. The players
and
need
it's
to do
probably
better.
partially on the players. I'm sure there's blame, but
Yeah, but I mean, could you imagine the Philly players right now, or anybody, the Philly players or the coaches, that got it from the
Marlins,
dumbass Marlins?
Yeah.
And they hear their commissioner saying this after they called the trophy a piece of metal.
Yeah, hunk of metal.
Yeah, so I mean, he's just if he's not out by the end of this, I don't understand, because I get you can't really change right now. You can't bring in commissioner in the weight of the world right now.
Right.
It would just completely melt. And more than likely, that new commissioner would have a better head on his shoulders and would shut it down.
Who knows? Would they just bring the assistant commissioner, or would they completely wipe it out? Because we don't know who that is, or I don't. And
Get
they might
Dusty
have
Baker out of Arizona. Get him out of
him
Houston.
out of everything.
Get him out of Houston. You don't like Dusty Baker?
I can't stand Dusty Baker.
I love me some Dusty Baker, bro. Put him as commish.
Also, how did Dave Roberts get suspended for that whole Joe Kelly thing? He didn't do anything.
I didn't see that.
He only got one game, and we won it. But basically, they suspended him for the other Astros game because I guess they didn't want anything to happen. But I was like, Dave Roberts is the least aggressive manager in the entire league. What is he doing? There's no way he said anything mean. But
he probably wouldn't stop. I don't know. He probably want to go to a dugout or something. But yeah, that's crazy. Dave Roberts. Yeah, you don't expect that.
I laughed so hard when I saw that. Luckily,
maybe he didn't have his mask on. Who knows?
Oh, maybe he probably touched somebody, touched an ump, and it was like, well, you can't touch umps. So,
but yeah, with Rob Manfred at the helm, I think it's safe to say that the MLB is good for at least another 3 weeks, at least.
Just because he won't let.
It's gonna take because I mean the games right now, 14 games, you can get those made up in a day, maybe 2. But if it gets up to 20, 30 games, whole series intertwining,
they're going to be doing double headers for a week straight.
Yeah, but the way that's set up right now, these series can very easily get made up. The more it gets to,
yeah, but you're going to have to stretch the season, because they were trying to do 60 games in 66 days or 63 days or something. They can't do that unless they.
Yeah, but I mean, or he's just going to have to, hey, it is what it is. You didn't get those games, hey.
That's
or they just go by strictly win percentage, not wins.
Yeah.
But just win percentage, maybe.
Then the Marlins are just going to say they have COVID the rest of the time because they're 2-1, baby. They'll get in there.
Yeah. But it's going to be crazy, but I don't see Rob Manfred. He's not a friend of anybody.
I don't think they'll make them play the full 60 games, because we're about to shift to the NBA, so we can make this point. But the NBA has different games. I mean, Portland has played a half game less than Memphis and then New Orleans. So there's going to be a weird stagger there as well. So I think baseball is comfortable with that as long as it's not 10, 15 games not being played. But if you're only not playing a 4-game series or something, they might just say, sorry guys, that's 4 less games for you.
Yeah.
Good luck. So let's shift to the NBA now. And the NBA is actually heating up. The games are good. It seems the bubble has worked. I think they're down to 0 test positive already. So as long as everybody is sticking with the program, it looks just like soccer,
Oh, dude.
the same little bubble. So it should work. What's up?
Perfect timing for. Do you believe in karma? I probably shouldn't have said that. We might get. Well,
What?
nobody listens
Why
to this.
would we get in trouble for asking if we believe in karma?
Do you believe in karma?
Yeah.
Who was the one guy who stood up and didn't have a Black Lives Matter shirt on this?
Isaac. Yeah, I saw. We were going to talk about it. Dude got his ankle or knee or something.
He tore his ACL on his left knee.
Yeah. And I loved what he said too. I mean, he is obviously, I don't know if he's African American, but
he's not wrong.
He's like actually African. Isn't he? Is he American?
I think he's American.
But anyways, he's a black guy. And he stood up and did not even wear a Black Lives Matter. And he said, well, of course I support Black Lives Matter. And he said, I support equality, but standing for the national anthem or kneeling doesn't combine with that. I don't remember the actual word. He doesn't stand for that. Doesn't mean that. So that's pretty cool.
But I mean, but I don't know. Just not get on the bandwagon because if your friend's going to jump off a bridge, are you? But I mean, the whole league is unifying. You don't really have, like, as Miles Leonard, he knows a lot of people who have he knows a lot of people who have served. It means a lot to him. He just he can't kneel, which is fine. But be a part of the movement, like help out, or don't be seen. Now's not the time to do that. Like the Steelers guy, it doesn't matter. He's still going to go out there whether they want to be in the huddle.
Oh, Villanueva, the ex-Pat or whatever he was.
Yeah. But, he would still go out there and all that stuff. But right now, the way things just went through the rocky patch that we're going through in our society and everything that's being brought to light, be part of that movement. They're using this huge platform to help, and everybody's got to be with it. I don't
know if I necessarily agree with that, but I don't agree with any backlash from that. Whether you want to kneel, whether you don't want to kneel, as long as you're doing it respectfully, I don't think I agree with you that you should be unified. I think the teams in the locker room should decide what they're going to do and do it. And because that stands for even more than what the kneeling stands for in the first place. But if somebody decides to stand, I don't think there should be backlash. That doesn't mean they hate anything just because they're standing. It could mean that, but people kneeling could hate those people too and just be like, I need to be part of this as well to fit in. So stop with the backlash, man. But it's like, as long as they have something strong to say, and Jonathan Isaac had something really strong to say, which is great, and Myers Leonard the same way. But then you see other people that, like Greg Popovich, who is an ex-military, I believe, right? And he speaks out tremendously about this stuff. And he and Becky Hammon both stood, and they both have kind of the same story. So, but they have that respect. But I'm just hoping that other people show that same respect, because you heard DeMar DeRozan show those guys that respect. Yeah. Hopefully us people, the people that don't know them, that have I've never talked to Greg Popovich in the world, but hopefully you give that respect as well. And people aren't just armchair quarterback and saying, oh, he didn't kneel, he hates black people or the movement or whatever. So,
I mean, it does take major balls to be one of the only two guys to stand up and to not even put on a shirt, because in your eyes, a shirt isn't going to be the thing to change anything. But I just feel like at the end of the day, like if I have a job and then they change something at my job to where we all have to do something in honor of something else, I'm not going to be the one guy that doesn't do it. I'm just going to pull a sick day. I'm just going to do a whatever the heck the NBA, I forget what it's called, a workload management day, and just not even be there for that, not even take part.
The difference.
It takes away. Miles Leonard didn't really take away from it because he was still unified and doing it. He just stood up and honored the anthem. But Isaiah didn't even have a T-shirt on because a T-shirt isn't going to do anything. He completely took away the unity and
Right.
the message that they were this platform going to millions and millions and millions of people is there for, and it's a huge word. And I wish he wouldn't even just showed up, honestly.
I mean,
But he's a
again,
retard. He went to FSU.
whoa,
So
that word is not allowed on this podcast.
I did
Get
say
that
that word.
off there.
He's a dumb.
He is not that. He's a
He went to the Seminoles.
he did go to the Seminoles, but I think there's admission standards at FSU, even for athletes. So, anyways, but I'm glad he showed up. I'm not going to say that. I don't think that. But the difference between, and to your point, to agree with part of your point, the difference is they're in the public eye, man. If you choose to stay home sick from your work because you didn't want to show up for ice cream for Joe's birthday because you hate Joe, like, that's fine. But if Jonathan Isaac chooses to stand and not wear a shirt, there's a part of him that's doing that to be seen. And I'm not trying to say that that's all he cares about is just being different and being seen, but he knows he's going to be seen.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, takes away. And you can talk to your team, man. You can talk to your team and say, listen, I'm not as down with this as you guys are, but I love you guys. I don't want to take away from the message you guys are sending and that I also want sent, and go ahead and do it. So I agree that the message he spoke about afterwards was not shown in just seeing him stand up. I don't think it came across as well.
For sure.
That's rough, but he's at least out, or not at least out. That makes it sound like a good thing, but he is out for the rest of the Magic's run. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Magic's run because the West we need to save a little bit for the end. The Magic look like they're going to easily finish second, I would guess. They had two really good games that they've played, and Brooklyn is really just relying on Karis LeVert to do everything. Washington, we're not even going to talk about. They're done. I think they're like 7 games behind now. I don't even know why they're invited, but just to give people a punching bag, it worked for the Suns, so I like it. But it's really the 7 seed is just Orlando versus Brooklyn. Do you think Karis LeVert can do what he did? Was it today or yesterday? They played yesterday, where he basically MVP'd them to a win. Do you think he can do that enough to stay above the Magic, which now they're a half game back? Or do you think the Magic should be able to jump into the 7th seed?
The Magic should be able to, but the Nets aren't a badly coached team. I mean, they look like they had a lot of hype coming in with Kyrie, and then he gets injured, and it looked like they were going to fall off, and they really haven't too much as far as their production with all the no-names and the Joe Harrises they have. And the Magic are going to have to keep going on the run they are, and they're playing great team basketball.
Yeah.
Big dude, can't think of his
Nurkic?
Yeah, Nurkic.
Or no, Valanciunas they have, right? Nurkic is on a different team, right?
Is it no, because Valanciunas is on Memphis.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Nurkic is there because Vucevic. No, it's Vucevic.
Vucevic, yeah, he's there because Nurkic is on Portland, right?
Portland. Yeah, see,
they all have the same name, man.
Yeah,
it's
really
like crazy.
But he's been playing lights out, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane, bonkers, and everybody is coming around, and they're playing good basketball too, which I don't understand how. I don't really see that too much out of Orlando, but it's great to see, and they probably feel more at home than anybody else right now, so they're probably more comfortable, and it looks like it on the court. It's great, but I don't know. I see them taking the 2. I don't know. The Nets, freaking, the 7th and 8th, 9th guy on the roster usually is in their starting rotation, so We'll see how long it lasts. But with the Magic, you can definitely see this run continuing to go.
But the problem, and this is why I started with this little run, is the winner faces the Raptors, the loser faces the Bucks. I'm not sure that either team is going to make it out of the first round, regardless of which spot they go in. So I just wanted to give them their dues at the beginning. But looking at the East here, which team – I don't know if you have the standings up. I know your computer gives you a hiccup sometimes, but
Bro, I'm on my phone, bro.
which team needs to try to move out of their current position if possible? I mean, do you see a team that should really be giving it their all? Not that everyone's not giving it their all, but a matchup you don't like?
Not really. I feel like the Heat, but there's no way you can tell the Heat to calm down.
Hmm.
But
You think they need to settle in and try to finish 4?
yeah,
Yeah.
get that because they're gonna be doing the 4 or 5. I don't know. If they end up playing the Sixers or the Magic, I just can see that giving them a little bit of headache. Get that 4 or 5 matchup and go to town. But you can't tell Jimmy B and that Heat team to calm down. They're playing bonkers right now too, but
Yeah.
you have to expect that with a Jimmy B team.
Yeah, I think Philly needs to figure their shit out is what I think.
Dude,
because now
they're doing what Philly does. They make me look stupid as crap the
I
other
know.
night whenever we were in our Zoom.
They looked so bad. And right now they would be facing Boston. And that they don't want to happen. They don't want a first round matchup against Boston. They need to try to get up and facing the Heat wouldn't be too much better, but they don't want to face Boston. They've had trouble with Boston in the past already, so they need to try to move up. And if they want to get all the way to 4, but the way they played the other day, that's not going to happen. So that's who I'm looking at. But all the rest of the East, I don't really have much more to say. I mean, if you have any ending points, you can.
Yeah,
go
not
for
really.
it.
It's just the Heat. I could just getting headaches from the Magic and anybody in the East really to be able to play Indiana right now would be a solid bet outside of the Nets.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, Toronto looks good, man. Spicy P looks great. Kyle Lowry, 39 years old now. I think he's only 34, but
he hit that double-double.
killing it. Van Vliet just shows up when he has to. Looks complete ass most of the time, but when it's on the line, Fred Van Vliet sinks them threes.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is, man.
But they look good, bro. They look great. Nick Nurse, bro. Them double ends on them.
Yeah,
them
he should be the coach of the year. Although all the voting is already in, so who knows?
Yeah.
But all right, so let's shift over to the West. And before we get to the crazy fight for the 8th seed, which is all anyone cares about, and it's gotten hotter over these it's been 3 games or 3 days, 4 days. So it's gotten hotter, but we're going to start with the teams that are locked in. So the first 7 seeds are confirmed, or they're clinched their playoffs, but not their spot. So same question, looking at these things, now we have a lot more parity in that, because the Jazz or even Oklahoma City could climb all the way as high as 2 if the Clippers slip, which I don't expect to happen. But what team do you see needs to try to guide their situation as much as they can?
Houston has to play OKC. They have to. James Harden, Chris Paul need that extra edge. James Harden, and Russ need that extra edge. Chris Paul is able to do wonders. Shea, Grudelugas, Alexander is amazing.
Grudelugas.
Yeah.
Nickname.
So, I mean, that team is really good. They're coached greatly by an amazing coach and Billy Donovan.
Is there Hall of Famer?
Hall
of Fame.
Yeah, but out of everybody, them are the Jazz maybe, but the Jazz still have crazy weapons, and the Spider and Mike Conley is showing a lot of youth in this bubble so far.
Yeah, he's looking a lot better.
Yeah, he is for sure. But if I'm Houston, I want to play OKC. I have to play OKC. If I do not want to get knocked out in the first round, I have to play OKC. Mavs, they look like they're going to get knocked out in the first round.
They're looking rough. They're looking really two-man, a double-head sword. They're doing their thing, and nobody else on that team. Seth Curry hasn't really gotten his 3 going yet. Hopefully that'll change. Dorian Finney-Smith, as much as I love him, go Gators, is not looking that good at all. It's really just KP and Luka, and they're doing their thing. I mean, they've made it be 2 close games. They lost to the Rockets and to the Suns. But when it comes down to the clutch, everyone knows who's going to get it. Everyone knows what's going to happen, and the Mavericks have to figure something else out.
Yeah, for sure. But the Mavs are pretty much the only team I feel like that aren't looking too good going into these playoffs and really have a problem. I wouldn't mind playing the Mavs, but it seems like I feel like the Clippers are going to be able to
Yeah, I feel like
keep
the
up pace.
2-7 will be pretty much set unless
Yeah.
Denver goes off.
Yeah, but if however the Rockets can get it, just stay in the 4 and hopefully OKC creeps up over Utah somehow. But they have to play OKC. That's really the only lock. I'm not really think the Lakers are concerned with any of the teams that could end up being the 8th seed, which really any team could end up being
Right
the 8th
now,
seed
still
right now.
any team, and it's gotten tighter. So we'll talk about that in a second.
So I don't think the Lakers are really too concerned. They're locked in there. But yeah, they don't want to play Toronto. I think that's the only team the Lakers don't want to see again. So they don't have to worry about them until the finals, which they may see. The Rockets looked good against the Bucks, man.
The Rockets dude, this bubble game is their game. This is how they play because they're all fresh. Russ is hitting shots again, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And as much as there's no home teams, honestly, you can look at it from a flip side where every team's a home team. They're all going to start getting used to these rims, and they're going to get used to their shot. And if Russ can hit, it's not like he's going into this hostile territory. He's in the same gym he's been at for 3 weeks, and he'll be able to hit shots. And if he can do that, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, this is definitely a shooter's gym. I was going to say a la TJ Warren.
Yeah, you said you wanted to face the Pacers? What? Do you really want to face
Yes.
TJ Warren?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What do you mean? You have their second best offensive weapon is gone. He has a bum knee, I think. He's gone. Their best offensive weapon is barely there, doesn't really want to be there, but he's the most competitive person on the face of this earth, so he's not going to not be there.
Right. But
he's more worried about his future than this bubble, so I don't think he hasn't played at 100. I don't see him playing at 100 in the playoffs either, and Oladipo. So, yes, I would love to play the Pacers and bet all my cash that TJ Warren won't put up more than 20 or 30 against a playoff defense.
No. Yeah, he's not going to drop 53 on a regular basis, that's for sure. But he put up a good game. The Suns gave him a chance, so I knew he could score. The problem is he doesn't play defense, and when it comes playoff time, that's important. But anyways, back to the West Coast. We got – I agree with you, but I don't think any of these matchups are set in stone out of that 2-7. Obviously, like you talked about the Clippers and the Mavericks. I think that's pretty much set. But Denver, without Jamal Murray, did not look good. And I don't know if he's coming back. I know he's sitting there on the bench, but I don't know why he wasn't playing. I had mute on the game, but I just know he wasn't playing. And they don't look good. And I know that Jamal Murray is a hit or miss kind of player, but the things he does besides scoring is something they need. So that's going to be rough if they can't do that. They could fall all the way to 6, man, and 3 to 6, no home court, whatever that means. But you don't want to be the lower seed. So I don't think they want to play the Jazz because that matches up well with them.
Yeah.
And because Gobert can shut down Jokic pretty well, and then Spida can do his Spida thing. So Spida thing. All right, so let's talk about that 8 seed. Let's talk. Wait, you got something else?
No, that's what I was going to. No, that's what I was going to go to. Is there any, just right off rip, is there any team that you think could beat the Lakers out of any of these teams?
No. Not without an injury to the Lakers. The team that I think would give them the most trouble has to be Portland. You have to say Portland because Nurkic is looking just as healthy as he was. Dame is on fire, dude. They lost, but he brought them back. They were down like 20-something points, and he brought them all the way back to barely lose. So he's here. He's ready to play. He's one of the most clutch players. Even in the playoffs, he's proven it. So they could give them trouble, but unless AD or LeBron get hurt, no, I don't see any of these.
I mean, they do look scary. Carmelo's able to come out when he's needing. He's putting up healthy numbers in his minutes.
He's trying to play defense. He's closing out.
Yeah, no, he is. And I saw a video this week in a practice that he was getting on some kids. So he's there. He's there. But yeah, so he's great. CJ McCollum looks right now like he's the next Scottie Pippen, with Dame on his team. But he's lights out right off the bat. Yeah, Portland's great. New Orleans is not. Sacramento, I don't know what happened to them.
They're terrible. I don't
yeah.
think they even care.
That's legit what it looks like. But let's talk about a team that's playing with heart. Let's talk about a team that's playing with grit. Best player on the team. I don't care. I'll get fouled out. I'm playing physical defense right now. I want the 8th seed. Let's talk about the team that you're wearing.
Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns, baby. So the Suns came into this tournament 8 games out of 8th place. And everyone was like, why did they get invited? Most people are saying that the Suns got invited just because Washington had to get invited to make sure that there was the right amount of teams. But Phoenix didn't want to hear any of that noise. They just came out. They wanted to play. They saw an easy schedule ahead of them with really, I mean, you have Oklahoma City and the Mavericks are playoff teams, but lower seeded playoff teams aside from the Clippers. So they knew they had a chance. Memphis is helping them out. And now after 2 games, they are 4 games back. And that's the number that they have to be in the play-in. But, of course, there's 4 other teams in front of them that they have to try to jump now. But so far, every single game has gone perfectly well for them. Memphis has lost both games. New Orleans has lost both games. Sacramento has lost both games. Portland has a win, but it's only against another team that Phoenix needed to lose, so that's fine. And then the Spurs, though. The Spurs, of course, Greg Popovich, are going to throw a wrench in this whole thing. They have won both of their games. They're actually only 2 games behind. How crazy would this be if Memphis, who hasn't looked bad necessarily, but they've lost both games, if they somehow fall out of this, and it's the Spurs and the Blazers that maybe go into this little playoff. We thought it was going to be whoever's facing Memphis for the 8th seed, but it might not even be that.
Yeah, this is crazy. Shows a lot of youth they have on their team. I think Valanciunas is probably their veteran leader. Tries to keep them afloat. You could see in the game the other day, he wanted to be in that game. He wanted that win. Didn't get it. But they don't really – there are a lot of youth. They've been off for a long time. Not a lot of these guys have that hunger. They're going off of a lot of young talent. And they came in. They had a lot of practice and a lot of free time, so they probably came into the games just with a vacation mentality and haven't locked in. And it's definitely been shown on the court. Like they showed talent. That team has a ton of talent, but if your head's not in the game, you're not going to end up with a win at the end.
And this, Memphis fans, if we have anybody in Tennessee listening to us, whether you make the playoffs or not, this is huge because your best 2 players are going to be around for a long time in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant. So whether you end up making the official playoffs, this is playoff basketball. So even though you're getting your licks right now, this is going to help a ton moving forward, and you guys are going to be good. But San Antonio, man, you talk about the fire. That's what they live for. They have so much to live for. They have veterans. They have DeMar DeRozan. They have LaMarcus Aldridge. They have Patty Mills. They have people that have been there before. They, of course, have Pop. And they have like a 22-season playoff streak on the line. So they came into this bubble looking like they had something to play for. And they're not as talented. And through 8 games, they might slow down. We don't know. But when you talk about fire, yeah, they definitely came into it with it. Portland came into it with it. And Phoenix, to circle all the way back, they came into it with the fire. And it's so great to see because our best lineup, and now our best lineup is using Mikal Bridges instead of Kelly Oubre. But that best 5 that we have are one of the highest plus-minus lineups in the league throughout the entire season. And that's just what we're able to see with this. But the problem is we have no bench, man. I think both games that the Rubio, Booker, Bridges, Saric, and Ayton lineup, the first game, I think they were over plus 20, and we only won by like 8 points or something to the Wizards. And then this game, they were plus as well. and we barely won at the end of the game. So I don't know how we're going to stagger minutes. I know there's only 8 games, man. I hope Monty Williams tells the starters, listen, this is our lineup. As long as we're still in it, let's give it a go. And you know that Booker at least is down for that. And that's part of why he fouled out, because he plays too hard because he's bad at defense. And I think that's a good characteristic, not to be bad at defense. But there's those guys that Steve Nash, for example, my guy, was bad at defense and didn't seem to care. He always asked people to help him. He would have Amari back in the back, Sean Marion back in the back trying to help. Devin Booker doesn't want anyone helping him. He wants to one-on-one against their best guy, and he ends up fouling them. But that's a good mentality to have, and hopefully he'll get better at defense while he's there. But I love what I'm seeing, and as long as we're still alive, I'm still holding out hope. We're going to be that 9 seed that gets to play for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's been great basketball, great product to watch. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving the virtual fans. I'm not really liking seeing Paul Pierce in the stands and Chris Paul's son. Like, you know how many people would love to be on that screen?
I know.
Right? I mean, and there are a lot of empty seats sometimes. You see a good little.
Well, because somebody's camera, they're probably in the kitchen making dinner or something, and there's not even.
Yeah. But
is that a sign-up thing? Do you pay for that?
I have no. I mean, I don't care. I mean,
so the soccer one, you just sign up or you tweet or Instagram, you Instagram to MLS Live or something, and it just cycles through. So this is probably the same way. You obviously have to prove that, like, you're a Phoenix fan, so I'd be on the Phoenix feed. But there's got to be a way. I should do it for one of our games.
Heck yeah, bro.
Especially one that I'm going to definitely be sitting and watching the whole thing. But Phoenix doesn't like to be on national TV, and I don't know if I want to have the feed while I'm trying to steal it, and it's laggy and it's kind of rough. So I'll have to wait till one of the Phoenix games are on ESPN. Maybe against the Clippers they will be. So.
We'll see.
All right, so what else do we want to talk about? What else is going on? Anything in the NBA before we get out of here? Or anywhere else, I guess.
But I lost it.
You know, I felt the same way. I had something, but I lost it. Oh, did you see, this is not what I had, but did you see the guy tweet about Bill Russell being dead? And he tweeted back at him. He's not dead. He's not dead. So Jason Tatum was balling for Boston, and somebody tweeted out, Jason Tatum looks really good tonight. Bill Russell was watching down from heaven with a big smile on his face. And Bill Russell tweeted back, he goes, I just checked my pulse and I still happen to be alive. And like some joke like back at him. And it was pretty hilarious. It made me laugh. Bill Russell is great, and he's ridiculously old. I don't know how he's still going, but he's good to go. All right, what you got?
It's awesome. I love it. I love Bill Russell. He's great. He's like, and that's what I like, and that's what really stinks about the Mamba's death. Like, you see all these old greats, don't know how the hell they're still as tall as they are, and they're not hunched over.
Yeah.
But they're walking out and they're getting there and they're getting to it. And that it seems to be what, like, the NBA, a lot of these old greats are really looking good.
Yeah.
But did you see Bradley Beal on the Wizards?
I did.
So he's not there. And he was invited on by the media to talk about the Wizards and stuff. And he started talking about how he can't stand, feels really disrespected by the media. Like, the coaches know, the players know. I don't know why you guys don't know. I don't know why I'm not all pro. I don't know why y'all never vote me, all this stuff. I don't know why I'm always getting snubbed. And just came on a straight he was just stone faced, bro.
So he didn't say anything about, like, the game?
It was just awesome. I don't know. It was just a clip that I saw. But he was just stone faced, like, dead ass. Like, the players know, the coaches know. I don't know why y'all don't know.
That's real talk. That's real talk right there. But how about you make the playoffs, Bradley Beal? And we'll talk.
Look, he's one of the – I mean, Rudy Gobert cried and all that stuff. But Bradley Beal's been the guy to always bitch and moan to the media about not making all these accolades and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Why would the media invite him onto the show? That's on there. That's on them. It was awesome. It was a great moment for me.
They should have invited John Wall because they love John Wall. Whatever he's doing, he's just cashing them checks is what he's doing.
That's all he's doing at home.
Yeah,
remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
John Wall.
Yeah, I do remember that, but screw Kentucky. Nobody cares. So Yeah,
Eagles.
good games. Go watch them. Go check out noscrubsallowed.com. Check out the MLS is Back tournament right up. Hopefully there's still baseball to talk about next week, but we will talk more about the NFL next week. That's what we're kind of planning for. It's getting back. Potentially there's a lot of opt-outs, a lot of things happening. So we
Get better, Gardner.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about the NBA on this one, but we'll talk more about the NFL next time. But of course, I don't even know who should we shout out as a stud this time. I don't even know who was Studley.
I'm not saying his name.
No. I mean like
Bob
somebody
Max.
that did something good that we want people to be like. Trying to think.
You know what? I got this.
Okay.
I said a really not good word about this man. And I apologize to everybody. I am sorry. But no, for real. Be like Jonathan Isaac. If you feel something and
You know what? Shout them all out. Shout all the players. Myers Leonard.
Everybody.
Be
like everybody. If you have a feeling and you really are passionate about that and you aren't going to let anybody take that away from you, be 100 with yourself. Be 100 with everything you do. And stand up for what you believe in. Don't let anybody weigh your opinions. Don't let anybody like me telling you not to even show up, get you down and not to show up. Always show up for yourself. Always put your voice out there. That's something that we will always have, and nobody in America can take that away from you. That is your freedom. That is your right. And be like them. Be like the NBA and whatever facet. Always show up. Show your voice. Be heard. Be a stud, not a scrub.